We have a lot of change going on, right? In our outside world, in our inside world, spirit, your ancestors, your guides, your angels are asking you and they're reminding you to stay rooted, right? I've been saying it a lot. A lot of people right now aren't even in their body. They are dissociating. They are in their heads. They are anywhere but here on planet Earth. And, yes, it's 100% understandable, right? But Spirit is saying, we got to come back into our bodies. We got to stay rooted because, there's a lot of things going on, and in the spiritual world, really, and there's a need for you to stay rooted, right? That includes finding moments to spend time in nature. I live in Phoenix. A lot of us live in Phoenix. It is 114 degrees, right? So maybe that's not possible right now, but maybe it's taking some time out and taking a trip. Or for those of you where it's not blistering hot, you might want to go outside and just get your feet on the grass, sit by a tree and just really ground yourselves. For others who just work, I understand, right? Maybe it's making some time for meditation or eating and cooking your own meals and just finding things that are going to keep you grounded and in your body, and not really weigh heavy on you at this time. And so, and this specifically because you're going through a transition. Again, just like Earth is going through a transition, just like humanity is going through a transition, right? There's a big shift going on. There's a big change. Think of it as, if something is growing further and further, right? Even a tree, it needs to stay rooted in order for the trunk and the tree to be able to stand tall, right? If it doesn't have any roots, it's going to grow, yes, but eventually it's going to tilt and tumble. And so think of it that way as you grow. Think of it that way as you continue to do your work and show up in your families and your communities, right? The second card is the seer, right? This specifically is for a lot of folks, right? This is one of like my seer, healer, psychic ability cards. So for a lot of you, you might be beginning to activate your spiritual gifts. They might begin to come in really strong. And once again, like the need to stay rooted. You cannot develop your spiritual gifts if you are not rooted and grounded. And I always say this, if you follow my Instagram, like if you are not in your body, right? And for others, right, the seer is also, because there's a lot of fear, because there's a lot of like looking on the past, right? Seeing beyond your current limitations, seeing beyond the now and seeing into a bigger perspective, right? And so the same applies, even if your spiritual gifts are coming in, you're doing the work, right? It's also being able to see beyond today and into the future, right? Where your gifts, where your talents are going to come into play, psychic or not, right? See beyond the fear to essentially be able to evolve, right? Evolve. Again, everything in this reading is about the need to transition, the need to change. I know that one of the planets, I can't even remember right now, went into Gemini, right? That already is going to cause a shift. We're in the Capricorn new full moon. And so again, these energies coming in are kind of like tower moments, right? Things are going to move because they are going to move. And if you've been following these readings for a while, I've been saying this all year, right? I think the common message is move or be moved, right? Grow or push, have different moments that are going to become catalyst moments for you that are going to push you to grow, right? Whether it's like kind of like almost like pulling the rug under your feet. And it's not to scare you. It's just almost kind of like a cocoon, right? Speaking of evolve of the butterfly, a cocoon a butterfly outgrowing its cocoon. What do you do when you outgrow something? you have to go find a new home. You have to go find, or you have to go into the next season, right? Think of it also as like a a crab. We are in Cancer season, right? Think of it as a crab. A crab, once it reaches its peak, it's outgrown its shell. What is it going to do in order to survive? It's going to look for a bigger home, a more suitable home, right? So again, it's move or be moved, right? Almost like get rid of this fear, because the new home, the new upgrade is just on the other side of fear, right? We have the rainbow. It's just on the other side of the rainbow, right? You're getting in the wild woman card. Depending on how you identify, it doesn't necessarily have to be, for women only, but this is just like my wild card. This is almost kind of like my you can't keep me down card, like my rebel card, right? This is the spirit and the embodiment of your authentic self, of somebody who is in their full sovereignty. And so again, going back to the different messages that I've been delivering, Spirit's asking us, Spirit knows, right, where we want to end up. And for a lot of us, that's, being able to determine how we live our lives, how we want to see our communities, how we want to grow as a society and in humanity. And so they're essentially like this change, this shift, this this almost reset of self is bringing us into our gifts, right? Again, spiritual or not spiritual, it's bringing us into our authentic self, to our sovereign self, to our self that is disciplined, that does embody their self-determination. And so, but it's going to take strength, right? We have the mountain card, right? Going back to the mountain and the rooted, right? These are two things that when rebuilt and rebuilt well, they cannot be moved, right? It's going to take so much to unroot a very grown and deeply rooted tree, as well as who can move a mountain. I don't know. I haven't met anyone who has been able to do this so far. So, anyways, we also have the ancestor and the fear card. So I keep going back to these cards, right? Because this is the direction we're going. We are going into change. We are going into evolution. We are going almost like walking in the dark. You are walking in the dark into the unknown, but it is bringing you into your most authentic self, into your most powerful self. However, your past and your fears are also the thing that's getting you from achieving all of this, right? For some of you, your past and holding on to the past and holding on to past fears, past events that, need a lot of healing and clearing are that mountain that's getting in the way of your evolution. And so, it goes back to what I had started with in the beginning, right? It's us working with fear. It's us working with the moment we're in and being 100% fearless at this time. It's being 100% balanced and rooted, not just reacting, right? Responding, figuring out, how do I show up for my community right now? Yes. We all have to do our part, but how are you showing up for yourself? How are you taking care of yourself? How are you embodying, right, this person, right, this sovereign being? And how are you working to heal your past and heal your fears so that we can continue to move forward, right? Individually, collectively, and because there's pretty much there's not much that can be done other than keep working through the fear, keep working on ourselves, keep being trying to be kind and understanding, right? For other people, they're getting lost, and but just trying to be the best person you are. I'm gonna go ahead and end this with a quick sound bath. I was asked to actually look for my bell earlier and start with it, but I couldn't. And so I found my tuning fork, and I'm just going to go ahead and end this reading. I know it was very direct, but that's the way it came to me this time around, just like this full moon. And so I'm going to go ahead and end this with this quick sound bath. All right, everybody, have a good full moon. See you next month.